When my nieces were around 6 and 8, they had a pet rat named Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man was a unique little guy. He was old, really old for a rat, and had been through a lot. Unfortunately, he also had some serious health issues, including tumors. At night, he would squeal in pain on and off, and it was tough to hear. My brother, their dad, finally had enough and asked me to take Spider-Man to the vet. He wanted to see if there was anything we could do to ease his suffering. At the time, I was living with my brother, and to be honest, the constant screeching had started to wear me down too. So, I agreed. My nieces were attached to Spider-Man, so they came along with me to the vet. We arrived at the vet's office, and right away, Spider-Man was making his presence known. He was squealing nonstop in the waiting room, and people were starting to glance over at us. It was a bit embarrassing, but I kept reassuring my nieces that everything would be okay. After about 10 minutes, the vet called us into the exam room. He seemed friendly enough, but things took an interesting turn pretty quickly. The vet pulled Spider-Man out of the cage and started examining him. He poked, prodded, and felt around, all the while admitting that he'd never treated a rat before. That didn't exactly inspire confidence, but we were already there, so we let him continue. After a few minutes, the vet gave us the bad news. Spider-Man was too far gone. His condition was causing him too much pain, and there wasn't much we could do for him. The vet suggested euthanasia, but here's where it got unconventional. He explained that a quick and inexpensive way to euthanize a rat was to put him in a Tupperware container with baking soda and vinegar. The reaction would create carbon dioxide, and Spider-Man would asphyxiate quickly and painlessly. I was already feeling uneasy about this suggestion, but before I could say anything, Spider-Man decided to take matters into his own paws. While the vet was still explaining, Spider-Man, who was in his hand, suddenly bit down hard on his finger. And I mean hard. The vet let out a loud, "Mother Fower!" and instinctively shook his hand. What happened next felt like it was in slow motion. Spider-Man went flying out of his grip and hit the wall with a thud. There was complete silence. Spider-Man didn't survive the impact. My nieces? They immediately burst into tears, screaming and crying at the top of their lungs. It was absolute chaos in that tiny exam room. The vet was horrified. He started apologizing over and over, trying to calm my nieces down. To make up for it, he gave them a pile of stuffed animals from around the office. He even threw in a bunch of free merchandise for their dog and cat at home. And of course, we weren't charged for the visit. It was a traumatic experience for my nieces, but eventually they recovered. We even laugh about it now, though at the time it was anything but funny. Believe it or not, I still take my pets to the same vet 15 years later. He's never thrown any of my pets against the wall since. Rest in peace, Spider-Man. You were a fighter until the very end.